Jessica realized she couldn't be near Michael anymore. Overcome and forgive his treason, she could not. But what she had learned kept her in suspense. 10 years they had been together. 10 long years, for which Michael became a native, the most beloved person. The truth cruelly wounded the heart of a woman who did not expect from her husband such a betrayal. Cheater, and with whom? With the one she had already considered her friend for a year. She wouldn't forgive him for that. Jessica thought about how to get back at her husband. Michael was an insanely charming young man. One day, he came to see her at the clinic. After examining the patient, Jessica said, "You don't have to worry too much. It's just a common allergy. Here, buy those pills. They should be taken after meals and everything will go away in a few days." "When can I come back to see you?" asked the man. "You don't have to," Jessica replied. "You will see that your rush will disappear and you won't need to come back. But if you're so worried about it..." Before she could finish, Michael interrupted her. "I'm worried, and I'm also like to invite you to the cafe for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, if I may." The pretty woman liked him very much. Michael was a free man, and saw no obstacles to get to know her better. When Jessica examined the patient, he found how warm and gentle her hands were, and also her beautiful blue eyes, from which it was impossible to tear himself away. He dared Jessica's unexpected suggestion, and now the doctor was looking at him carefully, taking her time to answer. "It's quite unnecessary," she said at last. "I have so much work to do and no time for entertainment. But it is only a thank you for your sensitivity to the unfortunate patient. I beg of you." Michael was persistent in his desire to continue communicating with Jessica. He watched the doctor writing something with his head bent over the documents. He waited, not giving up hope. Michael had always had a way with women, and they were eager to reciprocate. But Jessica seemed inaccessible, and that turned him on even more. "Okay, I finish work at 5, Jessica said after a long moment of thought. "I'll be waiting for you at the entrance to the clinic," Michael said happily. And in the evening he was indeed waiting for her at the entrance to the hospital. That evening they talked a lot. Sitting in a small cafe, Jessica looked at her patient, and she liked him more and more. He was a confident, quite polite, and pleasing man, and what a strong, muscular body he had. Thinking back to their first date, she was getting angrier and angrier. How easily she had trusted Michael, how she had failed to see him as a traitor and a cheater. She had been blamed and failed to see the obvious. Emily came into Jessica's life like a breath of fresh air on the hot afternoon. One day, she heard the doorbell of her in Michael's apartment. Opening the door, Jessica saw an unfamiliar girl. Surprised, she asked, "Can I help you with something?" "Yeah, I'm sorry, She leaned against the wall. She looked like she was going to faint. Jessica let the girl in and sat her down in the chair. "Did something happen to you?" she asked. "I'm not feeling well. Can I have a glass of water?" "Yeah, of course." Jessica rushed into the kitchen to pour water for the stranger. "Please drink. I will find a sedative. I will give you some medicine. I'm a doctor." "Nothing. I'm fine. Thank you very much." The girl refused. "I'll just sit for a while, if you love me." "What's your name, and what happened to you?" Jessica asked. "I was walking down the street and I got dizzy. My name is Emily." "I'm Jessica. Would you like some tea? Or maybe you're hungry?" As a doctor, Jessica knew that the girl needed to calm down, drink a hot, aromatic beverage. No, don't worry, but I could use some tea. Then you sit here, and I will make you some. Just don't get up, Jessica said, and left the room. When she returned, the girl was feeling better. She was sitting in the armchair, drinking the hot tea Jessica had brought, and looking at her gratefully. Thank you. There aren't many people as kind as you, she said. And your place is so cozy, clean and warm. Where do you live? Maybe I can take you home, Jessica asked. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere to go. My father kicked me out of the house, and I've been wandering the streets for 3 days, Emily said. She looked very unhappy, and tears came to her eyes. Oh my gosh, why? Jessica exclaimed when she heard of the girl's distress. After my mother died, he brought another woman into the house, and she decided to take me out, and I had done nothing wrong to her. Oh, you poor thing. You might want a snack. Here are some cookies. Jessica handed Emily a vase of ginger cookies. I will make something to eat later. Oh, no, I will go. Emily shook her head. Where will you go if you were kicked out of the house? Stay with us. There is plenty of room. You wouldn't get in our way. Jessica felt very sorry to the girl. My husband and I will be glad to help you. That's very kind of you. I'm a doctor and I have to help people. Jessica handed the napkin to Emily, who was moved and cried. Leaving the girl in the living room, she went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Michael was due back soon. He had been coming back lately, saying he had a lot of work to do at the car service. Jessica always waited for him at home with a delicious dinner, but she felt that he was getting away from her, becoming a stranger. The woman understood that a man sometimes needs something to fill his personal space, call him to go to the theater or to movies, but Michael always refused, saying that he was tired and wanted to rest. Jessica put in the oven well-battered meal with vegetables and began to prepare a salad with broccoli and mushrooms. Can I help you with something? Emily asked as she entered the kitchen. No, I'm almost done, Jessica told her. Her husband will be back soon, and we have a dinner. Michael opened the door with his key. I'm home, he shouted loudly from the hallway. Jessica rushed over and kissed her husband. We have a guest, she told him. Or rather, a guest. Don't look so surprised. It's a poor girl who was kicked out of the house by her father. The man frowned. Who is this girl? He asked. Come on, I will introduce you. Hello. Emily seemed a little embarrassed, and Michael looked at her in surprise. I'm Emily. Unexpected, the man muttered. Honey, Emily has nowhere to go. Do you mind if she stays with us for a while? Jessica asked her husband. She won't bother us. Well, let her stay, Michael agreed, sitting down at the table. If Jessica had known then that her husband had long been acquainted with a girl who had appeared so unexpectedly in their apartment. But she didn't even realize it, naively believing that she was just helping the unfortunate girl. Jessica became friends with Emily. They often went shopping together, and Mike's wife even bought things for her new friend. She did not even notice how Emily became almost a member of her and Michael's family, except that the girl didn't know how to run a household. All day long she was busy with herself, watching shows on TV, and sometimes left the house to go for a walk. When Jessica came home from work, she cooked dinner as usual, and Emily shrieked happily. You have such an interesting job, talking to people all day long, seeing patients. Maybe you should get a job, Jessica asked, putting out the groceries she had just bought at the supermarket. It will give you something to do. No, not that. I don't even know how to do anything. You can start learning. Then you will earn money and you will be able to rent your own place. I knew it. Emily pouted. Pouty, breathily painted lips. You're kicking me out. No, you're not. You're not bothering Michael and I. You can stay as long as you want. Jessica put her arm around her friend's shoulders, afraid that she might have offended her with a careless word. Emily had been living at Jessica and Michael's house for a year. Jessica began to notice that her husband was coming home from work earlier than before. Sometimes she would find Emily and Michael sitting next to each other on the couch, chatting merrily about something. They were laughing, discussing some movie, and didn't even notice that Jessica was there too. And she was still making lunches and dinners, coming home from work and then setting the table. That damn day, Jessica was coming home in a good mood. She had a patient appointment cancelled, and the woman ran into the store to buy groceries for a pie. I'm making Michael's favorite apple pie today, just in time for him to get home from work, Jessica thought as she hurried home. She opened the door, holding the bags of flour and apples, walking into the kitchen and put the groceries on the table. The apartment was quiet. I'm surprised Emily isn't greeting me, Jessica thought. The woman suddenly heard Emily's quiet laughter, thought that she was watching some movie on the TV again, hurried to the living room, but Emily was not there. The girl's laugh was coming from her in Michael's bedroom. Jessica opened the door and froze, frozen in place. Her naked husband was laying on the bed, and Emily was completely naked, sitting on top of him and kissing Michael's passionately. For a while, the lovers didn't even notice Jessica entering the room. They were too engrossed in each other to hear her footsteps. Michael? Jessica exclaimed in shock. When he saw his wife, the man jumped up and covered himself with a sheet, and Emily effectively bent her whole body, not at all embarrassed by her nakedness. How cool you, and you, Emily. I've done so much good for you. You're a naive fool, Jessica, she said with a grin. Michael and I have been together for a long time. It was just hard for us to date. And when I moved in with you, our relationship became hot and passionate. Jessica felt her legs shaking. She tried with all her might not to fall. Get out of here, she said slowly. Get out of my house. I will leave, but Michael's still mine, Emily said with a laugh. Jessica only threw her things at her and hurried away so that she wouldn't have to see her husband's face, who was still standing there, covered by a sheet, next to their marital bed. When Emily left Jessica and Michael's house, the husband tried to talk to his wife. It was all her, he excused himself uncomplainingly. It's not my fault. I don't want to listen to you. What you did to me is disgusting, but you will forgive me. Never. After what you did, we can live in the same house and share the same bed. I will file for divorce, and you can go wherever you want. Jessica was disgusted to even look at her husband. A woman's whole life had collapsed in an instant. The moment she saw him in bed with someone she thought was her friend and whom she had helped so much, Jessica could not forgive such a betrayal of those close people. I'm not going anywhere, Michael said firmly. We bought this apartment together, so I'm going to live here. And in fact, I can bring anyone I want, even Emily. Jessica was confused by those words. They were so insolent, but Jessica couldn't leave the house. She had nowhere else to go. Michael had brought Emily into the house, and now they spent most of their time together, not hiding their feelings for each other. It was painful for Jessica to see. She suffered, but every day the desire to take revenge on her husband grew in her. But how? The solution came one day when Jessica was wandering patiently between the counters at the supermarket. She stopped at the shelf of spices. "Now you're going to jump on my ass and come running for help, begging me to help you," the woman thought. Jessica was getting ready for work at the clinic when a happy, cheerful Michael came out of the room. Emily was left lounging in bed all night long. Passionate signs and the creaking of the bed came from the room where they were now together most of the time. Jessica's head was pounding, and she couldn't sleep listening to her husband making love to Emily. "Going on?" her husband asked her with a grin. "Go back to your clinic. You're not wanted here." Jessica didn't answer anything. She was on her way out of the house when Michael entered the bathroom to take a shower. The man was humming something, standing under the stream of water, lathering his body with shower gel, with a pleasing scent of sea freshness. He did not yet know that in a few days he will be sitting in his wife's office and asking her to help him. "Jessica, tell me what's wrong with me. I'm begging you, help me. My whole body is swollen, and especially there." He pointed with his hand just below my navel. "I'm in terrible pain." He was terribly humiliated, but the pain and the rush all over his body were more disturbing. His skin was burning with fire. "Oh, you've got a terrible disease," Jessica told him with a concerned look and shake of her head. "Judging by the test you got, it's a serious venereal disease." "But from where? It's never happened to me before," Michael exclaimed. "Such diseases usually come from promiscuous sex," Jessica replied. "Draw conclusions." "You think I could have been infected by Emily?" Man didn't believe it. "Why not? She's not the most decent girl you've got. If she's sleeping with you, she might as well be in bed with another man." Jessica grinned. "How am I supposed to treat it?" Michael asked, looking at his wife with a bleeding look. Jessica looked intently at her husband, who had done such a treacherous thing to her. She enjoyed watching him suffer. She wanted him to suffer, to humiliate himself in front of her, to experience what she had experienced when she had caught him with Emily in the marital bedroom. "All right, I will help you," she finally said. "Just keep in mind that it's going to take a long time to heal. And also, this disease can lead to unpleasant consequences. I'm ready to buy any medication and treat it as you say," Michael assured her, kneeling down in front of his wife, whom he had cheated on with Emily. "I'm going to kick that witch out today. Believe me, she will never be in my life again." Jessica relieved in Michael's humiliation. She wrote him a prescription, advising him to go to the pharmacy as soon as possible and start treatment. Michael grabbed her hands, kissing her, trying to look into her eyes, but she stood up and opened the door. "Go away." Jessica stared out the window, thoughtfully, watching her husband walk briskly down the sidewalk toward the pharmacy. She was pleased. The woman's revenge had made Michael very nervous, and all she had done was put a common spice, white pepper, in his shower gel, and he, using the detergent, got a severe skin burn, which now will be treated, believing that he has contracted an unknown terrible disease. In the evening, When Jessica returned home, Emily and her belongings were gone.